Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the first module of meditation and using the Key Train method, right? So the Key Train method has three pillars: active relaxation, which is achieved through Qigong, Tai Chi, Bagua, internal martial arts. Pillar number two is becoming energy efficient, which is through life habits of self-discovery and becoming more efficient with our body and energy. And pillar number three, becoming the master of our attention, the masters of our mind. So as a result of practicing pillar number three, we decided at Key Train to launch a meditation community, a meditation group, a meditation club, however you want to call it. So every Wednesday we meet in Key Train and we meditate together, and of course throughout the week everyone practices on their own. So I decided to create a series of videos that will help with particular topics that all of us can use when we meditate. So first of all, let's go to the roots and the purpose of this practice. Why do we want to become the masters of our attention? Throughout the day, we have a lot of things going on in the external environment as well as in the internal environment. So internal environment is family, relationships, work, news, social media, different things that happen to us, right? So all these are grabbing our attention. How do they grab our attention? Through their senses. So visual sense, hearing sense, smelling, touching, and tasting. So these are the five ways, the five senses are the five channels that our mind is being captured, is being kidnapped on whatever happens outside, right? So on one hand, we have the outside environment, which, to be honest, everyone wants to grab our attention. Now, from the energy perspective, in Tai Chi, we say that the energy flows where attention goes. Now, in a relationship, when you have a friendship relationship or love relationship or any kind of relationship, there is a permanent battle in the brackets between who grabs more energy from the other. Most times we feel like this is not intentional, and it is true, most cases is not intentional. However, in a relationship, we want attention from our partner, right? We want to express our opinion, or we want to say our truth, expose our truth, and so on. So it's the same from the other side. So each relationships will be giving or taking energy through attention. Now, the internal environment is related to our emotions, right? And feelings, how do we feel? So here it's even more complicated because majority of the emotions are triggers to the external world, right? So on one hand, we have to manage our senses for the external environment. On the other hand, we have to manage our emotions for the internal environment. So this is what the meditation club is for. We want to practice to become somehow in control of whatever happens. So I'll give you a very classic example. Raining. If it's raining outside, or if it's really hot, in case of Bahrain, if it's very hot, it's an element outside that there is really nothing we can do about it. And yet, a lot of people complain. So with rain, it's a very famous, the Singing in the Rain song. Some people will be really affected by the rain. They will be depressed, they will be upset, they will be upset that they cannot go out in the weekend, and other people will be happily singing and dancing in the rain. So, and other people will be neutral, right? So the meditation club, the meditation community, our purpose is to find a way to find the balance between the external environment, the internal environment, and finding this balance will allow us to be and stay focused on whatever we choose. Because if something happens outside or inside, some unwanted emotions are grinding on us, it's very hard to focus on anything that we want. So we become the slaves of our environment and the slaves of our patterns of emotions and thoughts. So that is the reason I believe everyone from very young age to even older age, we should have a sort of practice of I call it meditation, self-awareness, attention. I would say attention. So the pillar number 3 of the Key Train method is becoming the master of our attention. So how do we do that? Practice. The answer is practice, but what do we exactly practice? So we start, all the practices that we do are about moderation and about gradually achieving progress, right? So we start very, very small with very simple practices that we will do. So this is the first video that I'm doing to explain why, to explain the purpose, and to explain what we're doing, right? Now, the main let's say the main first focus in our club is to manage the thieves. The thieves are the perception, right? The visual sense, the hearing sense, the smelling, the touching, and the tasting. So if we manage to lock down these thieves, then we are able to live with any type of environment that we are in. So we might be in a crowded area, we might be on the mountain, in a monastery, in a church, in a mosque, somewhere where it's very peaceful, or we might be somewhere where it's very crowded and annoying, in a restaurant, So how do we practice? Well, first, we have a very, very simple exercise, the basic exercise, which I am going to do in the next video, where we start slowly practicing 3 to 5 minutes every day for about a period of, let's say, 2 to 3 months. And what we practice is to move our attention from outside environment to inside environment, yeah? And we're using different senses by suppressing the senses to go out, in, at will. Now, this exercise might be simple at first, but we can add degrees of difficulty. Same like when you're working in Tai Chi or in a gym with weights, yeah? You don't jump and start lifting 150 kilos. You start with 10, we start with 20, and then slowly you increase. So it's the same. When we practice meditation in the beginning, we practice in a quiet environment where there's not many distractions, there's not many, the phone is closed, there's no noise. So we manage our environment, and then slowly we start adding elements of distraction, which of course they make the practice harder. And then eventually we have to be able to practice the same exercise, and I am going to make a list of difficulties, of difficult environments that we have to go and try this practice. So this is the first step, I would say. The first process is to start with this practice. So in the next video, I am going to explain the basic practice for managing the thieves. That's the first part of the course. The second part of the course, we're going to talk about emotions and triggers and how to manage the internal environment. So we start with outside because it's much easier to deal with outside. Then we continue with the emotions, thoughts, and then once we manage both, then we become free to do anything we want with our mind. We unlock parts of the mind that are otherwise not available to us because the mind is hijacked by outside or by patterns of emotions and thoughts. Okay, so thank you for your attention and watch the next modules where we learn how to manage the 5 thieves.